Yo! Video games.
All right, what up, dudes? Welcome in. I basically felt the need to talk about this since this has been news for a couple days now, and the start of this is that Microsoft is changing the price plan of Xbox Game Pass. They've done changes. They've done changes within the last year and a half. They've done a lot. Like, things have just constantly be on the changing over and over. The naming of it, the pricing of it, the this, the that, the other thing. It's been like a constant, just changing of the guard. But that's just this week. This week. But what I want to talk about here is this is unprecedented in my mind. What Microsoft is doing. And I've been covering the video game industry in a professional manner since 2001. Let me just reiterate that. I was at E3 2001, okay, in an official capacity. And obviously I was following as just a sort of avid gamer, long before that. And then, of course, I've done plenty of research into, the game industry when I was a youngling and before I was even born, of course. I have never seen anything, and I lived through the 90s. I mean, we have a whole podcast video talking about how insane the year 1998 was for the video game industry, with the amount of companies and video game consoles that were being introduced to the video game market all at once, and everyone was trying, to get a slice of that pie. So I have been covering the game industry I have never seen anything like this. When I say what is this? I've never seen a company race towards its own destruction as hard and as fast as Microsoft has. I have never seen someone basically sabotage their entire product, their entire division like this. And again, I've seen many, things in this game industry, because when a company where, say, gaming may not even be the main focus of the company, they throw their hat in the ring and they try to get into the game industry. They try to, make either publisher or you make a console and they're trying to sell you like their video game console. Usually they would do all kinds of things to compete. Microsoft is not competing. In fact, Microsoft is doing this. I have no idea what's going on in their minds right now, because they openly admitted over a year ago, like, yeah, we lost last generation really hard, and it was a bad generation to lose because everyone started building their digital libraries on Steam and PlayStation, which they're right, they did. So they admitted they had a tough road ahead of them to try to, make the Xbox brand work, and that was true. So you would think that, okay, I admit we're not doing as well, right? And you would think when a company isn't doing as well, your console is not selling as much as the other guys, your direct competitor. So you think they would try to do something to compete. Usually that means lowering the price, like you try to undercut them. And you could argue Microsoft was always trying to undercut Sony with the Xbox Series S. But they didn't even try to undercut them, because, again, like, that's hardly an undercut to sell a much inferior. Like, you have a system that stands toe-to-toe with the PlayStation 5, with the Series X. And that's, your one-to-one competition right there. And then your Series S is sort of like, well, this is sort of our Trojan horse, our, like, get you in at, like, a lower spec sheet. But they didn't compete. They raised the prices. And yeah, there's reasons behind that. We can't ignore what's going on in the world in the world of microchips that was happening right around, COVID 5 years ago. Obviously we can't ignore all the tariffs, and you can call them what you want or choose to plug your ears or argue to death that tariffs aren't affecting anything, but they absolutely are affecting everything. Everything is going up. Everything. So Microsoft just raised the prices, but they raised the prices twice in 1 year now. Twice. So they have a system that is, by their own admission, in courts, not selling anywhere close to as good as its competition. They decided to raise the price of it twice in 1 year, and make it more expensive than their competitors. How on earth is that competitive? You're trying to compete by raising the prices of your system that is failing in a sales race. Wow. Okay. You don't want to, so they don't want to be in the hardware game. That's fine. That's Microsoft. You know, that almost makes sense. Because, you know, they pivot to this whole cloud system gaming. Play your Xbox anywhere. Play it on your phone. Play it on your laptop. Play it on your portable PC. You know, play it on your PC. Play our Xbox games on your other system. So Microsoft's always been a software first company. Okay, software first. Makes sense. Sure. That's the deal. So they have Game Pass. And again, Sony does come out years later with their own direct competition to Game Pass. You have PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium now. So they have their premium PlayStation Plus version. And now we're going to have a Game Pass Ultimate. Well, to compete with Game Pass Ultimate. In a year or maybe 18 months, my Game Pass went from costing, I think, $16, $15 or $16 a month, to then it was like $18 a month, and then it was $20. And it kind of stayed at $20 for, I think, maybe a year. And then they announced this week they're raising the price of Game Pass Ultimate another 50%. So within about 2 years, their subscription service has had a 100% increase. I might be a little fuzzy on the math of when, not even 100, maybe more like 80%, 80, 85, 90, whatever, from 16 to 30. Math and dates might be a little fuzzy, but they went from $20 a month to $30 a month. It is a 50% increase. They increased the price of Xbox Ultimate, Game Pass Ultimate, 50% this week. And it goes into effect like immediately for new times, and I think we have like a month for people already in the subscription service thing. So we'll get dinged that 30 in November. So this is just, okay, so their whole pivot towards, well, we want you in our subscription service. We want you in our subscription service ecosystem. Our console gaming has not worked, so let's pivot hard into the subscription service model. And how do we pivot hard into our subscription service model? Raising the price another 50%. That's gonna win it over. Again, they're lemmings running towards a cliff. They are running to cancellations. Your whole game plan was pivoting away from console sales because you're not winning that. You're losing it horribly. So you pivot to subscription model and raise the price of that 50%. I don't know what's going on here. And then again, just looking outside of hardware, looking outside of like the subscription service model, what has their internal game releases have also been a shit show. We have had massive cancellations. They shut down studios immediately after releasing product with Redfall, with Hi-Fi Rush, with a lot of mobile game stuff in Bethesda's mobile division. And then they shut down the initiative. They canceled Perfect Dark after years of floundering around in dev hell. Fable has been delayed. Like I don't know if they ever officially canceled Contraband, but it's probably gone now as well. Games have just suffered nothing but delays and cancellations. So I don't know I have no idea what their goal is, because everyone marches to their own beat. Everyone kind of has their plan where they think, oh, this is definitely going to work or whatever. I have no idea, because Microsoft is just losing across the board. They've been losing across the board. It's going on near a decade now that they've been trailing Sony for a good while, and their response is to just, upcharge it, charge it more. We're not doing well. We're not popular. Make it more expensive. That's the idea. I have no idea what's going on with this company. And like I said, this is where it's unprecedented, because when 3DO flopped really hard and fast because it was $700 goddamn dollars in the middle of the 90s, what did they do? Immediately start dropping the price. Cut $200 off it. Cut $300 off it. Cut hundreds. Start selling them for $50 at Best Buy. That's what they did with the 3DO. That's what they did with Jaguar. That's what like Saturn, when Saturn was really starting to struggle against the PlayStation before the N64 came in and killed it in America, they were giving you 3 free games with every Saturn. They were giving you like Virtua Fighter 2 and Sega Rally Championship and Daytona for free. They were giving There's some of their biggest games bundled in the box. They're not bundling games on Xbox. They're just raising the price with nothing there. And then everything's about Game Pass, but let's raise the price there. Okay, well, what about these games? Well, let's delay them and cancel them. I have no idea what's going on in this company. It feels like it almost feels intentionally sabotaged. Like someone high up in Microsoft does not want the Xbox division around anymore, period. And it is just basically like, all right, fine. Like, do everything in our power to basically, we're just going to gouge whatever fan base we have left, fry them until they all leave, and we basically have, it just looks like the smart thing to do is to shut down this, flailing division. Division's been flailing, but there's been like no drive to sort of improve anything. So, yeah, like I this is where I'm like, I don't know, because Game Pass was, in a sense, was the best value in gaming. It really was. Even at $20, which is a lot. $20, which is $2 more a month more than the PlayStation Plus Premium, which Game Pass gave you day one first-party game releases. Ultimate does. Ultimate gave you day one releases. It gave you a ton of games. It gave you EA games, EA Origin games. It gave you, and now they're adding Ubisoft games or whatever. So it was the best value in gaming. It was, but now it's almost double. So PlayStation Plus Premium, which gives you access to a huge back catalog of old PlayStation titles, streaming PS3 games, that's $18 a month. Microsoft's Premium, their Ultimate, is $30. It is $18 versus $30 for the highest tier of their subscription model now. So I have no idea where they're going with this. It's actually kind of mind-boggling to me that their initiative for everything has always just been to increase the price, cancel the product. Just, I mean, there's in-shitification, and then there's like malicious intent. Like, it is like maliciously intended to just get rid of everyone out of the Xbox ecosystem. It is truly mind-boggling. Because again, I can go back in time and I can look at everything where all of the failures in the game industry usually tried to do something. Dreamcast drastically cut its price. They even floated the idea of sending you a Dreamcast for free if you subscribe to like SegaNet. There were all kinds of weird ideas, that everyone tried something to do it. Like when Nintendo suffered with their systems on N64 and GameCube, they dropped the price. They sold GameCube for $100 while it was still on the market as the main system. They launched for $200. It started really struggling. They dropped it to $100. They started bundling Zelda collections in with their GameCubes for $100 while it was their main system on the market. Like Nintendo would do that. They would, like 3DS came out and it struggled out the gate. And what did Iwata do? He had to drastically drop the price from $250 to like $180. So every time a company struggles, you see them try to get competitive. They're doing the exact opposite here. And the only reason I think they kind of can get away with this, of course, is it's Microsoft, which is just the weird thing because Microsoft, the richest company on earth, I don't even know if that's true anymore, but one of the richest companies on earth, so they can eat whatever cost, right? So if they wanted to compete, they could drastically undercut, their system. They could sell it at a loss and just try to we offer a better value because we give you the same exact experience of a PS5. Like say sold the Series X for $400 against the $500 base model of the PS5 and be like, well, we're giving you the same thing for less money. We're going to make sure Game Pass Ultimate costs less than PlayStation Plus Premium. We'll keep it $15 for Ultimate, so you get a better deal for cheaper because we are losing this battle. But instead of that, it's just raise the price. We're losing. Make it cost more. And again, they're the only company. They're one of the only companies on Earth that could afford it. They could afford to take this loss. Because the whole thing is like, well, I didn't get rich by writing checks. I didn't get money by, selling things at a loss or whatever. So it's like, okay, but increasing the cost, like literally doing everything in your power to lose whatever's left of your customer base. Because really at this point in time, it's really just the Americas, mostly United States, that have any sort of foothold with Xbox as a brand. Asia don't give a shit. Europe, most of Europe doesn't really care either. So you're really just looking at USA. And all they're doing is just driving people, again, canceling, delaying games forever, over and over, canceling games, shutting down studios, raising the price of the console, and raising the price of their Game Pass over and over and over again. A 50% increase alone, just out of nowhere. Shadow dropped this 50% price increase. But you're going to get some EA and Ubisoft games. I've never seen this. And the only reason I think the Xbox is even around, and I've even heard that like Costco's have just stopped carrying the product altogether. So again, I think at the end of the day here, this is just the wildest thing for me to see. And I have the unique advantage here. So I have a unique perspective saying this on this stream, on this channel, because I don't personally give a shit who wins or loses, okay? I don't personally give it. All of them are assholes. Like, the people running Nintendo are assholes. The people running Sony are assholes. The people running Microsoft are assholes. They are all fucking assholes. They are all greedy fucks, all of them. So I don't personally care who's doing better than the other, but it is fascinating to me. What's up, Just Luska? It is fascinating to me to watch a company barrel itself into, I want to make sure I get rid of everyone. I just do everything in my power to make the decision people will hate the most. So, yeah, I have this just, so my perspective is like, I don't care if Sony succeeds or fails. I don't care if, I don't care if Nintendo succeeds or fails. I just want to make sure Microsoft is protected. And I really don't care if Microsoft succeeds or fails. That means nothing to me, because at the end of the day, great games come from great talent. The talented, creative, artistic, hardworking developers at Nintendo, at Sony, at Microsoft, and at all the third-party and indie developers around the world, they are the heroes here. They are who I admire. They are who I respect. The people writing the checks and finding all their different ways to lay thousands of people off, you're not my heroes. You're not anything to me. You're literally you are the annoying middleman getting between me and enjoying my video game. So yeah, I have this. My perspective is unique in that sense, where it's like I am not console fanboy of anything. I particularly happen to enjoy games. We all know I love Microsoft games. I pretty much have. I'm falling. The rest of Nintendo is hit or miss for me. Sony's hit or miss for me. Microsoft's hit or miss for me. All their first party offerings. I love. I'm enjoying Ghost of Yotei. I love Ghost of Tsushima. I enjoyed that. I like Helldivers. Like. I enjoyed Indiana Jones. I enjoyed South of Midnight. I enjoyed Doom Dark Ages. Like, I enjoyed a lot of these games. I enjoy all of these titles, but holy crap, man, the top level side of Microsoft is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling what they're doing here. I don't know how they have a fan base. I don't know how they go into the next generation. I don't know how they go into the next generation of systems with this insanity of ill will towards their paying consumer base. I have no idea. I have no idea how you do this. They have their brand is Omega level poisoned at this point. And it's almost I going into the future, I can't even imagine third parties and indies wanting to even take a deal unless the cut is amazing for Game Pass in the future. But yeah, it's just, whoo, Lord, I can't figure them out. This one I can't figure out, guys. If anyone can figure out what Microsoft's strategy here is, like, what is the strategy? And when I say strategy, I don't mean cynically, their strategy is to get rid of it, to write it off as a tax write-off. No. What is the strategy towards making this successful? What they're doing here with all that's gone on with them? What is the strategy here towards competing, towards making money? How does this what is the path to the future? What road are we going on, and to where? I don't know where they're going. Like, I don't see what their plan is necessarily. Like, mind-boggling just to me. Like, if the only thing I can think of is like, it just feels like someone is trying to squeeze as much money out of the Xbox division as they can before they inevitably shut it down. That is the only thing I can see from this point. And I don't even know how you argue otherwise. Like, again, we've raised the console twice this year. We've 50% increase on our Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions. And we've delayed and canceled tons and tons and tons of titles that we own. And shut down multiple studios and laid off thousands and thousands of people. There's no strategy here. I don't see it. If there is, please enlighten me, because I see no strategy. I just see in shitification, squeeze every last dime we can out of the rest of the people, and then get rid of it. So, oh boy. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm at a loss for words here, and I have no idea what's going on with this company anymore. I thought they wanted to compete. It really seemed like they did during the 360 era, but it's clear that those days are well and good behind them, and I don't know what goes on. I don't know what goes through their heads. I don't know what's going on, as far as the future. There's like no future here. There's no future. How do you sell this? Like, you're really gonna try to sell me on your credits program? Like you're a McDonald's app or something? Build up, your credits points every time you buy, a McChicken sandwich, and then eventually you'll have a free McFlurry or something. That's your goal. That's your reason. For a 50% increase. We got some Ubisoft games here. Woo! Man, you just wait around for some Steam sales, man. Whew. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you. I'll see you on the stream. I'll see you on the channel.